If I had to pick one advertising method, it would be YouTube all day. It's the largest traffic source online, the second largest search engine, and with thousands of hours of content being loaded to the platform every day, it's an endless source of eyeballs. You just have to know how to dial it in. What's up, everybody? I'm Ryan Scibelli with Advida, and welcome to the Advida YouTube course. Before we get started, I want to answer a question I get from a lot of friends, colleagues, and clients alike. Why YouTube? Well, the answer is simple. YouTube has over 1 billion users, more than a third of the internet, making it by far the largest traffic source for brands, agencies, and marketers to grow their businesses. YouTube's where people come to learn. It's also the second biggest search engine on the internet. The video views feed the largest search engine on the internet, Google. With over 31 million channels, YouTube trumps every TV network, streaming service, and online video channel when it comes to available views. If you're going to pick a traffic source or ad platform to master, why not go after the biggest and most scalable ad platform? A platform that has machine learning that really works. Where if you're able to make your campaigns work at a small level, there's enough viewers and volume that you can run your campaigns for months and in some cases even years. This is why in 2020 I chose to double down on YouTube. I had a striking moment of clarity sitting at my desk from my home office. Brick and mortar businesses were shutting down, workers from every industry were being pushed remote. And more users than ever would be online and at home than in history. And to top it off, online advertisers were pulling back their budgets due to uncertainties. This created an unbelievable once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for brands, agencies, and individuals that had a product or service to sell on YouTube, and those who were willing to learn how to use the platform. At the time, our team had no formal training in YouTube. It was all a learn-as-we-go effort. But we knew one major factor was working in our favor. With the increasing amount of advertisers pausing their campaigns, advertising costs at an all-time low, while users and YouTube traffic, with everyone being at home, would be at an all-time high. This unique scenario created a perfect storm for brands that had budget and inventory to take on a behemoth of a traffic source like YouTube. Our team identified products that we felt were the best fit for taking advantage of this opportunity. And within 60 days, we spent over $1 million of our own money on YouTube ads. We went on to spend 8 figures of our own money on YouTube ads in 2020, and now we're closing in on an unbelievable milestone of $100 million in ad spend on the Google Ads platform, with the majority of that being YouTube ads. So that's why YouTube ads. This was a great example of a potential setback and finding the silver lining and using that to transform our business in a positive way. During this process, our team didn't take any courses on YouTube ads. We didn't follow any set process. We had no mentor to model after. We simply tested, learned, and slowly built systems and protocols we found to consistently drive profitable results. The course you're about to dive into is the culmination of these learnings and processes. We're still adapting and fine-tuning our approach to this day. Here are some of the fundamentals that you're going to learn in this course. The anatomy of a successful YouTube ad. Resources to create great video ads even with a limited budget. How to build and architect YouTube campaigns like a professional. The process of feeding Google's machine learning and how and when to scale. You're going to learn advanced YouTube optimization techniques we developed to take campaigns from $1,000 a day to upwards of $200,000 a day. How to find and uncover competitors' video ad strategies, YouTube tracking and attribution, and even how to navigate policy. I hope this course can serve as your ultimate YouTube playbook and a resource you can utilize to learn YouTube ads, build your processes, and even train new team members on how to be successful with YouTube. Now, let's get to it. In this first section, we're going to cover the fundamentals of what makes a great YouTube ad. We're going to break down the anatomy of a successful YouTube video using examples so you can gain a clear understanding of what makes a great video, and most importantly, so you can also develop your own process for formulating great ads from scratch. When you hear the phrase YouTube for action, think videos designed to cause viewers to take action. This could be filling out a form, downloading an app, booking an appointment, purchasing a product of any type, and really any action that constitutes generating a lead or a new customer. Let's talk about YouTube ads and how they actually work. If you watch any YouTube ad in the wild, you'll notice a skip button that appears 5 seconds after the ad starts. These are called YouTube pre-roll ads. If your campaign is optimizing on a cost per view or a cost per impression basis, for example, brand-oriented, you're charged only when a viewer clicks through to your landing page or watches your video for at least 30 seconds. Any amount of view time below that 30-second threshold are considered free impressions. However, if your video is optimizing on a target CPA or max conversion basis, your campaign will be charged on a different pricing structure. Instead of being billed after the initial 30-second threshold, you will be charged on an impression basis. So if your YouTube campaign is conversion focused, generating leads or selling products, you have a major incentive to get viewers to stay engaged with your video from the moment it begins. But before we dig into creative strategy, let's talk about how YouTube's billing model differs from other platforms like Facebook. Facebook has a number of billing options for their video product that you can adjust based on the campaign objective. If a video plays on Facebook for a fraction of a second, that's considered an impression. If a user watches your Facebook video ad for 3 seconds, that's where you're billed. The Facebook definition of a view is the industry definition of an impression, resulting in typically lower intent traffic than YouTube, hence the lower CPMs. YouTube also has 95% audibility. That means 95% of the time video ads are played with sound versus Facebook videos are played with sound only 33% of the time. Because of this, it's always best practice to use subtitles on your YouTube video ads. This technique can both keep users engaged and ensure users who have sound off can follow along. We recommend using captions on your video ads with large, easy to read text. Now let's get into how the YouTube story arc differs from a traditional story arc. Based on my experience, 75% of your campaign's performance boils down to your video. Crafting a successful YouTube ad has been dialed down to a science. The best YouTube advertisers often take time to study other winning companies' YouTube ads. They then break those videos down to sections, analyzing the way the script flows and how each section is carefully designed to accomplish the ultimate goal of getting the viewer to take action. A story arc is the chronological construction of a plot in a novel or a story, or to put it more simply and apply it to this scenario, the blueprint for your YouTube ad. A traditional story arc looks like this. As you can see, the recommended YouTube story arc looks a bit different. With the YouTube story arc, you want to open with a hook, something that prevents the viewer from hitting the skip button. Here's the formula for a great YouTube ad broken down into 5 sections. Number 1, you're going to open with a hook or an interesting statement, aka a scroll stopper. This is going to get the viewer to stop what they're doing and pay attention to your video. The goal here is to grab the user's attention within 3 to 5 seconds. Next, you're going to state the problem and why it's a big deal. Then you'll explain the solution, establish credibility with an authority figure, product demo, or customer reviews. Then give the viewer clear instructions on how to take action. And last, mention a discount or promo if applicable. I've spent countless hours researching the top performing direct response YouTube ads and curated a list of examples across several different categories so you can see what makes a great YouTube ad. Remember, not every YouTube advertiser is driving results and conversions in real time. So just because you see a video a lot doesn't mean it's exactly working in terms of driving a measurable profit. Direct response YouTube advertising is very different from brand awareness advertising. This course is about results and focuses on direct response advertising. One variable you will notice is that some videos include an authority figure and some do not. You don't necessarily need an authority figure to be successful on YouTube, but based on our experience, it helps conversions tremendously. In addition, as you begin to proactively critique video creatives with story arcs in mind, you'll notice that some advertisers position the authoritative content at the beginning of the videos and some do it later on. Based on our experience with YouTube, we found that establishing authority and credibility earlier in the story arc increases your conversion rates versus later in your videos. Let's go through a few examples together of direct response style story arcs like I mentioned above. Let's start with VShred. If you use YouTube on a regular basis, you may have seen VShred ads over the past few years, especially if you're into fitness and supplements. This VShred ad follows the signature story arc. Here's why this ad was so successful. 1, it's got an attention-grabbing scroll stopper. It then establishes credibility with a confident, knowledgeable, and in-shape authority figure. Then it states the problem, how it's tough to get in shape, and where many people go wrong. They entertain and educate the viewer with a story about Hugh Jackman. They direct you to click the link below to take a quiz, and they offer a solution, the 3 most important things to do to get in better shape. This video does a great job of roping the user in emotionally, offering a solution to a common problem, and then directs the user to take action. It's also a great example of pre-qualifying the viewer. If you're an individual who isn't interested in health or getting in shape, you would likely abandon the video within a few seconds. Let's check out another example. Udemy. Udemy is an online resource where people go to learn. Here's a very straightforward direct response style ad with a textbook story arc that can work for both e-commerce and lead generation style campaigns. Let's break it down. The video starts with a pre-qualifying question. Do you want to learn to draw professional and impressive character artwork? It then introduces the authority figure, the professional painter and artist, and that spokesperson explains his character drawing course and how it's helped thousands of students. They then offer a 75% off promo with limited time offering, increasing urgency. They highlight the course materials, and explain how it can apply to artists of any level, both new and experienced, expanding the audience of the potential buyer. They then showcase beautiful character style artwork and different people enjoying the content and successfully drawing their own character artwork. They offer a 100% money back guarantee to increase conversion rates. And last, they highlight a 75% off promo again and direct viewers to take action by clicking the link below. This video is a prime example of a short format video that utilizes a textbook story arc. Udemy does a great job of pre-qualifying the user, establishing credibility, offering multiple promotions, and ultimately directing the user to take clear action. This style of video can be used for multiple product types or services, for generating leads, and is also very well optimized for YouTube Shorts inventory. Let's look at another example, this time a free app download, Honey. YouTube is a great way to drive downloads for apps, games, and browser extensions. Here's the top performing Honey YouTube ad and why it's effective for driving new downloads. Number one, it has a great scroll stopper. The actor in the video grabs your attention by dropping his phone multiple times and ultimately breaking it. This ropes you in by invoking the stressful emotion that the viewer feels when they see someone lose or break their phone. It's a great example because almost everyone has a phone, and rather than pre-qualifying you for a niche product like Udemy's drawing course, this Honey ad appeals to a very wide audience. Next, the actor visits Best Buy's website browsing for a new phone and has the bright idea to search for a promo code. He finds several promo codes, but then tests them and none of them work. We've all been there and understand the feeling of frustration. Then alternatively, the actor navigates to the same website with Honey installed on his computer, and the app shows the viewer how easy and convenient it is to accomplish the same process with Honey installed on their browser. The video then shows example savings, how easy it is to install Honey in 2 clicks, and reminds the user to take action while mentioning that Honey is a completely free product. This is a slightly different story arc versus the other styles above. A good way to think about how the Honey story arc is different versus the other examples I mentioned is that they're simply replacing the authority figure component with a section that articulates money savings, convenience, and a free product, which a user can get in seconds, which in some cases like this one is even more powerful. Let's check out one more example using an e-commerce product demo style UGC video for 4 Patriots. This is an example of a video that anyone could shoot with their smartphone. The video has a scroll stopper with an engaging background that tells you to stop scrolling, a spokesperson that then explains how in the next 30 seconds they're going to show you how to charge 2 devices using a solar-powered charger, and how you can never avoid running out of battery again, even if you're in a dire situation like being stuck in the woods. The spokesperson explains the features of the product, shows the product in use, and reminds the user to keep watching throughout the video. They then let the viewer know the store is running a special on that product and mention the sparkling customer reviews. They then mention discounts available and how the product can be a great gift idea. And last, they offer a limited time discount for taking action today. This is a great example of an e-commerce style demo video that's user generated that could be shot in a matter of minutes using any smartphone, no special equipment, no lighting. And rather than using an authority figure, they lean in more on the product quality customer reviews and a limited time offer. Now let's talk about how you can assess if your product is a good fit for YouTube. Since you're charged on an impression basis, YouTube excels for products and services that could be applicable to the majority of people that see the ad. So a question you have to ask yourself is, if I serve this ad to its target demographic, would the majority of people find value in it? For example, a dating app that's only for people that believe in astrology would be a poor fit for YouTube. The eligibility criteria for the brand and video is way too specific and probably only relevant for less than 1% of the audience. However, a video promoting a free browser extension like Honey is a very strong fit for YouTube. It's a strong fit for obvious reasons. Almost everyone today shops online, and anyone that shops online would love to gain access to special promo codes and discounts, especially if there's a free way to make that process of finding promo codes even easier, and if the Honey browser extension does it automatically, even better. However, the angle you choose for a product can turn a good video into a great video. It all comes down to the hook plus problem statement we discussed earlier, mentioning a problem, showcasing a solution, using an authority figure, product or savings demonstration, and then directing the user to take action. Here's an example hook. Don't make another purchase online until you see this. Example problem statement. Do you love shopping online but hate overpaying and hate it when you can't find promo codes for your favorite products and websites? So why is this hook so strong? It piques curiosity and retains a high percentage of users to see what the secret could be, and it engages those actively dealing with this problem. It avoids buzzwords like eliminate, fix that are prone to clickbait disapprovals. But it's the problem statement that captures about 90% viewership from the people that are actively shopping online and may now be interested in taking preemptive steps to save money on purchases. Remember, successful YouTube ads tell stories that people want to hear. They're designed to capture attention, educate, and offer solutions, but not always in that exact order. Let's see this principle in action for a successful auto insurance ad example. Notice how their hook has nothing to do with auto insurance. Here's the hook. Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. So they lead with the problem statement. It not only engages the viewer, it retains those that share the same problem statement that they want to save money and buy a car. If you're promoting a highly niche product, for example, like auto insurance, an interesting and often effective strategy can be to find an angle that plays to the widest audience possible and backs into the solution rather than leading with something like, do you want auto insurance? Think of the probability that you're reaching out to someone exactly at the moment when they need auto insurance. The odds are insanely low, probably sub 1%. But the chances that they want to save money to buy something cool in their lives are probably closer to 95%. The key takeaway here is to design videos with captivating pre-qualifying hooks, state the problem, and share how what you're selling is the ideal solution to the problem. So how long should your video ads be? One of the most common questions we get is, what's the ideal length for a YouTube video ad? For lead generation ads designed to generate a lead, to get someone to fill out a form or book an appointment, 45 seconds to a minute and a half seems to be the sweet spot. For e-commerce, downloads, or apps, 2 to 4 minutes is the sweet spot, with some videos as high as 20 minutes or longer. In some rare cases, we've had success with videos that are as long as 30 minutes or more. Today, YouTube's algorithm is increasingly shifting to prioritize shorter videos with YouTube Shorts. So if you have videos that are longer than 8 minutes, you can expect to pay a higher CPM to advertise. However, depending on your video and product or service, you may find that long-form videos are still more profitable, even with the additional CPM tax you might pay. This is because with longer videos, it gives you more runway to educate, entertain, and ultimately sell the user, especially if they've been watching a video for 20 minutes with a well-designed story arc. Longer videos can lead to higher average order values, with viewers being more pre-sold and emotionally invested in the story and product. They end up purchasing higher ticket products or larger packages, especially if there's a deal offered. This is something that we've determined by analyzing our own data when we compare the average order values of short ads to longer form ads. So let's talk about uploading your videos to YouTube. If you don't have a YouTube channel, you'll first need to create one before you can upload and promote your YouTube ads. The process is easy and takes about 10 minutes to set up. Once you've created your YouTube channel, you can then upload your ads to the channel, and you'll be provided a unique URL for each video so you can utilize those with your YouTube campaigns. One way you can gain a competitive advantage in terms of campaign performance is uploading your video multiple times to the channel, but by using different thumbnails for each video. So rather than simply uploading your new video ad to YouTube, you can upload the video 5 times, making each video unlisted, which means your video is not findable via YouTube, and the only time a user will see it is if they come across an ad in the wild. We'll talk about why in the optimization techniques module. Now, once you built your YouTube ads and uploaded them to your channel, you're ready to build your first campaign. Here are some tips for creating great YouTube video ads. You can connect your channel to your ads account. This gives you the ability to upload longer videos, add custom thumbnails, and based on our testing, has performed the best. Custom thumbnails are, if you upload a custom thumbnail to your video, you're going to want to use a 1280 by 720 image size for best results. And last, you can optimize your videos for YouTube Shorts by limiting the length to under 60 seconds and by shooting in a 9 by 16 mobile format. Okay, so you've created your YouTube video ads and you're ready to set up your first test campaigns. But before you do, it's important that you have an expectation of what it takes and how long it'll likely take to develop a successful YouTube for Action campaign. Developing a successful and long-term YouTube campaign takes planning, meticulous testing, and the right budget strategy to ensure you're effectively gathering data without overspending before your campaign's mature enough to warrant doing so. There are 2 initial phases to developing a successful YouTube campaign, but before we dig into each phase, it's crucial that you're set up for success in regards to reporting. Things like scaling too quickly, making too many adjustments, and not carefully managing your campaigns can disrupt your campaign and long-term goals. Your Google Ads dashboard should be modified to be clean, simple, and easy to understand. Simply providing the data you need in an easy-to-digest manner so you can focus on improving your campaigns with minimal distractions. Here's how to create and target your campaigns from day 1. So phase 1 is max conversions. This is going to be about 2 weeks long. In phase 1, your goal is to begin to lay the foundation for a long-term campaign by feeding Google's machine learning with as many conversions as possible. Your budget in this phase should be controlled. Google recommends a budget of at least 10 to 20 times your CPA. So if you're selling a product that costs $100, Google recommends and encourages a budget of $1,000 to $2,000 a day. While this budget strategy may work for some advertisers, we found through our own data that testing with budgets as little as $200 to $500 a day for products that cost $100 can work. So how many videos per campaign should you test? I recommend running 3 to 5. This allows each of your videos to get enough impression data to determine performance. Including too many videos can be counterproductive because in many cases, the majority of your budget will often go to 2 to 3 videos, leaving the others in the dust without a fair chance. There are several different types of campaign goals you can utilize with YouTube. This gives Google's machine learning a North Star, so to speak, in terms of what your exact goals are, so both you and the machine learning are on the same page. In this phase, we recommend using Google's max conversions goal. The max conversions goal will spend your daily budget in full with the goal of generating the greatest number of conversions as possible. If it takes a day or two for your campaign to start spending, don't be alarmed. Max conversion campaigns typically see wild performance variances as Google's machine learning works to figure out what channels, demographics, and audiences perform best with your product or service. If your campaign performs poorly in this phase, don't be surprised. This is par for the course with YouTube ads, and it's also where a lot of advertisers get frustrated and pause their campaigns. Allowing your campaign to run at an adequate budget and time period during this phase will let Google's machine learning gain confidence by testing different videos, CPMs, and placement tiers. Not all traffic is created equal on YouTube, and placement tiers will drastically affect conversion rates. Once you find stability during the maximize conversions phase, where your CPA is coming in at approximately the same number for 3 to 4 straight days, you would then want to pivot your conversion goal to a target CPA goal, where you're setting a specific cost target as your North Star. So to put it simply, you're essentially telling the machine learning that you're willing to pay a maximum of X per conversion, with the goal that the machine learning will do its best to generate you new customers at that number. If your max conversion campaigns are profitable, sometimes it can be advantageous to continue with max conversions until those campaigns die off from a performance standpoint. Then when they do, pivot to target CPA campaigns. An interesting example is over the years, in some cases, our team had campaigns spent hundreds of thousands of dollars profitably with max conversion goals. Once the campaigns become compressed from a margin standpoint or profitability standpoint, we then would reboot those campaigns as target CPA goals. Phase 2 is pivoting your campaign to a TCPA or target CPA. Once your YouTube campaign is seeing consistent results in the max conversion phase, you can then safely pivot to a target CPA campaign goal. This provides YouTube's machine learning with a specific North Star in terms of what you're hoping to pay for each action. This is your effective cost per action, or eCPA. By this stage, the platform is beginning to develop confidence in regards to your customer avatar after seeing which demos, channels, and audiences are performing best. This is where you can begin to slowly scale your campaign. This is also the most critical stage of your campaign in terms of watching performance very closely and beginning to trust the machine learning to do its job. I recommend scaling campaigns at increments of 10% every 24 to 72 hours, and then closely monitoring performance before scaling again. If you have a day or a few days where performance is poor, wait to make any adjustments so the machine learning can regain its footing. Remember, you just pivoted your campaign to a target CPA goal, and it's still in the early stages of a potential multi-month or even multi-year campaign. So take your time and be patient. Your campaign is new, and even though it may have seen success over previous weeks, if you increase your budget too quickly, it could spiral out of control temporarily while it reestablishes itself. In some cases, campaigns can spiral out from a profitability standpoint in this phase, and you may have to restart your campaign at a smaller budget, inching it up every few days until you see more consistency. Sometimes it can take spending $20,000 or more for the machine learning to get enough data to confidently hit your daily budget while adhering to your target CPA goal. The first 30 days of running a YouTube campaign can be rocky, but remember, you're in the big leagues now. You're advertising in the deepest ocean available. Getting to this stage is an accomplishment in its own right, and many advertisers tap out during the first 30 days for a variety of reasons. Be patient, let the machine learning gather data, and build its confidence and scale slowly. Phase 3, now it's time to scale. If you can get your campaigns to spend $5,000 to $10,000 a day while you're hitting your target CPA or ROAS goals, you've reached phase 3. Now it's time to get strategic and scale your campaign out. There's a good chance your campaign will see similar results at 3 to 4 times that budget, but just remember to take your time and to get there and look at your YouTube ads account as a multi-month or multi-year project. The path to getting there is often not a linear experience like you'd expect to see on Facebook, Instagram, or with native advertising. And as your campaign continues to rack up spend and consistently hit your target CPA goals, it'll be tempting to scale your campaign. Google's platform will also prompt you with recommendations within their UI, encouraging you to scale with forecasts of results you can expect to see if you make those recommended adjustments. If you have a campaign that is performing exceptionally well, spending its full budget every day, consistently hitting its target CPA goal, or optimally coming in under the target CPA goal, then you may have a potential candidate to follow Google's recommendations. If your campaign is up and down in terms of profitability or struggling to hit its daily budget, there's a strong likelihood you won't see a recommendation to scale your campaign, as Google's machine learning still may not have the confidence to do so. As you begin to scale your campaign more aggressively, you're going to have good and bad days. I recommend looking at your campaign performance on a 7-day average basis. Meaning, rather than scrutinizing your campaign if it has a bad day, zoom out and look at the campaign from a performance standpoint on a weekly basis. If you overreact and make too many changes to your campaign on a daily basis, this can cause your campaign to spiral out of control, or even stop spending because it's been overly restricted. Remember that YouTube is a deep ocean and the machine learning isn't perfect, but the more data you feed it, the higher likelihood that your campaign will hit its goals. YouTube Shorts are designed to be shorter and attention-grabbing. Shorts are the new YouTube mobile optimized experience centered around vertically formatted videos that are 60 seconds or less. With the emergence of trending platforms like TikTok, YouTube rolled out these short-form style ads, which see 70 billion daily views, including 2 billion monthly logged-in users. Shorts are a great way to scale your YouTube campaigns and tap into different traffic that you won't typically see with traditional wide format YouTube ads. YouTube ads on Shorts are usually 10 to 60 seconds long and appear between other shorts, looping consistently until the user swipes up to the next video. You can incorporate short ads into your campaigns through Video Action, App, and Performance Max campaigns. Think of Performance Max as a combination of display, search, and video ads all rolled into one campaign. Now let's talk about how to create YouTube ads for Shorts. You can diversify your YouTube campaigns and tap into increased volume opportunities by creating vertical format video ads optimized for YouTube Shorts inventory. In fact, adding a vertical formatted creative asset to your video action campaigns can help deliver 10 to 20% more conversions per dollar on YouTube Shorts versus using landscape or wide format videos alone. The system optimizes for the best performing assets across inventory sources. So we always recommend to shoot or format your existing video creatives into YouTube Short formats for additional volume and increased conversion rates. If you already have videos completed, or if you have high performing videos you'd like to mold into Shorts format, there are several techniques to do so. One, you can fill in existing gaps with imagery, and this also gives you an opportunity to test different images by filling in those gaps. Two, you can simply crop vertically. And three, knowing that YouTube Shorts viewers have a lower attention span, you can try adding different 3 to 6 second hooks to grab users' attention at the beginning of the videos. Now, crafting YouTube Shorts campaign strategies is a bit different. So when you're creating videos and campaigns specifically for Shorts, there are a few strategies to consider. You can edit existing video creatives to optimize for YouTube Shorts. So for example, let's say your winning landscape video is 5 minutes long. Try creating 5 to 10 short form versions of that video using different intros and scroll stoppers. The caveat with this is if you have a long form video that performs really well, it can often be challenging to kind of crunch that video into a sub 60-second video ad. It may take you several tries to find a video that performs as well as your control, and you may not be able to replicate the performance of your longer form video with Shorts. However, there's one technique that you can utilize in that scenario. That's just using a different landing page. So an example would be creating a 60-second YouTube Shorts ad using the most impactful footage and calls to action from your existing 5-minute video. And then rather than linking to a landing page that simply encourages viewers to take action, you can link to a landing page that has more content and explanation on it, or even a longer form video. You can also create completely new vertically formatted videos for YouTube Shorts. When you do this, it's wise to test multiple different landing page experiences to see if simple or more complex landing pages with more content or additional videos perform better. You essentially want to test everything with the goal of finding a funnel that performs as well as your control so you can tap into additional impression volume through Shorts. Here's how to tell if YouTube Shorts is a good fit for your brand. So this is the non-exhaustive list to look at to determine if Shorts is perfect for your product. So number one, if your brand sells well on social channels like Meta and TikTok. Number two, if your brand's efficiency can be demonstrated through photos or before and afters or a live demo. Three, if your product's highly visual in nature, something like incense waterfalls or teeth whitening. Number four, if you have ample influencer or UGC content in a 9:16 format. And last, your target CPA is between $25 to $100. Shorts doesn't excel for products with higher CPA deep funnels. Now, if your brand has a wide addressable audience within the demographic parameters targeted in Google Ads, something like Medicare to a 65 plus audience, or a solar powered smartphone that almost anyone can benefit for, that's another play for shorts. Highly niche products or services are not the best fit for YouTube overall. The more wide your appeal, the better. Now let's dig into YouTube Shorts creative testing as well as how the learning curve works. For new to video advertisers, we often recommend testing initial video versions on Meta and TikTok. This is for 3 reasons. Number 1, the videos are shorter. They're about 10 to 20 seconds and they take less resources to develop. Meta and TikTok inventory is also much smaller than YouTube in the sense that it allows for more linear learning curve at the smaller levels of spend. Number 3, CPCs and CPMs are usually 20 to 40% cheaper on Meta versus YouTube. This allows advertisers to collect data on each video's performance a lot faster. Once an advertiser has tested, say, 5 to 10 angles on Meta or TikTok, we would encourage them to build more complete 60-second YouTube short campaigns with those top 2 to 3 angles. Another technique you can utilize is repurposing your successful Meta and TikTok videos for YouTube Shorts. It can be a tall order for advertisers to take top performing 10 to 20 second social videos and expand them to be suitable for YouTube Shorts. While a YouTube Shorts video can technically be any duration, you want to shoot for a 60-second or so video to match the rest of the YouTube Shorts inventory you're serving ads in between. So how do you take a top-notch 20-second social video and turn that into a 60-second YouTube Shorts video? Let's first take a look at the anatomy of a typical top-performing social video. A catchy hook to pull viewers in, an intriguing and fast-paced demo of the product, or if a lead generation, qualifying the viewer and sharing what they'll gain from the service. Potentially a quick testimonial. There are many things that we could add in here to hit 60 seconds and boost the conversion rates for this video. You could insert a fresh hook with highly captivating imagery to add a few seconds and boost the view rate. You could explain why a viewer should care about the product or service. For example, instead of blindly pushing people to sign up for an auto insurance product and hoping they'd be in the market, maybe include a scene discussing a great new car you afforded with the savings from switching your plan. Everyone loves saving money, not everyone loves car insurance, so maybe lead with the former. Explain how you're able to offer such compelling benefits. For example, solar advertisers can lean into the fact that when adding solar to a house, you could potentially save a lot of money. People love hearing about what they can get, but they love it more when they understand why or how they're getting it. You want to build urgency to encourage people to click the link below and to visit your website. You can offer time-sensitive discounting or limited inventory as a call to action, or if you're a lead gen advertiser, you can highlight the sign-up window as closing if applicable. You want to break that fourth wall by acknowledging that it's a YouTube ad. This is one of my favorites. So you can include a sentence saying something like, you can still watch this video you're here to see, just click the link below and we'll take you to a 2-minute questionnaire to see if you qualify. Or you could utilize a closeout sentence. The goal is twofold: encourage them to click the link below and let them know the video is ending so they have time to take action before the video ends. YouTube ads often end abruptly and don't allow viewers enough time to figure out how to take action. I'd encourage a 5-second countdown timer with a downward pointing arrow to bring last-minute conversions through the door. Now, you don't need to use all of these scenes to reach the 60-second threshold. These are just add-ons that we have found perform exceptionally well when added to social videos. Feel free to pick and choose a few that you feel like make your video most authentic and you think that'll make it perform the best. So now let's debunk some myths about YouTube Shorts. Number 1 myth: you need a super short video to serve on YouTube Shorts. A little known fact that we've corroborated with Google is that you can serve any length of video on YouTube Shorts. You just need to make sure it's in a vertical 9:16 format in order for it to be eligible to serve. However, all videos over 3 minutes are subject to a CPM penalty, so 3+ minute videos are discouraged. Myth number 2, YouTube Shorts purely serve to YouTube video inventory. Around 10 to 15% of YouTube spend can actually serve to YouTube display or Google video partners. Over time, the YouTube algorithm will slowly deprioritize or prioritize inventory based on performance, and there's no way to bulk exclude this inventory. This is why the initial YouTube learning curve can be a little rocky at first in new accounts. Myth number 3, YouTube Shorts are mobile only because it's 9:16 vertical format. This is actually false. YouTube Shorts have a huge amount of desktop viewership, but it still serves in 9:16 format. So don't exclude desktop unless your offer is only available to mobile. And that's a wrap. I hope this section helps you get a better understanding of how to leverage Shorts into your YouTube campaigns. Let's talk about how YouTube affects search campaigns. One thing that brands and advertisers don't always consider is that YouTube will affect their search efforts, specifically branded search. The biggest pushback we hear running branded search is, if a brand wants to find us, they can just type our name into Google and see us via SEO. While that's true in most cases, there's 3 reasons we recommend all YouTube advertisers run branded search. 1 is to maximize profit from influenced impressions. 2 is to play defense on branded terms and competitors. And 3, control brand messaging and take up more real estate on search results. Reason number 1 is to maximize profit from influenced impressions. If you're running ads on YouTube, in many cases, viewers will leave YouTube after a certain period of time, and they'll go to Google search and key in your brand name to learn more about your product or service. I would call these searches warm in the sense that they've been intrigued by your video, your product, and have a high likelihood of converting into a new customer at a low effective cost per action. For example, if you spend $200,000 on YouTube ads and generate 25 million impressions with 5 million views and an estimated view rate of 20%, that would give your campaign a cost per view of 4 cents. Now, the average conversion rate for YouTube action is around 0.3%. So what happened to the other 99.97% traffic that you served impressions to? Theoretically, there's 4.85 million people out there that still watch 30 seconds or more of your ad that haven't converted yet. This is a major missed opportunity. Ideally, they would remember your full brand name, type it into Google, and then convert directly on your website at a later date. But this isn't often the case. Sometimes they misspell your brand name and even enter in random queries. Let's say you're the supplement brand Umzu promoting a video for a supplement focused on digestive health. If someone types in Umzu on Google search, the company website is going to pop up really quickly. But if they were to type in Umzu with incorrect spelling, Umzu's ad wouldn't show up, and they might have lost a potential customer that was influenced by their YouTube campaigns. This happens a lot, and the vast majority of YouTube viewers press the skip button before the brand unveiling even occurs. But the idea of cannibalizing your organic SEO results with paid advertising still rubs a lot of advertisers the wrong way. There are 2 things that you can consider in that realm. As the owner of your brand, you have a high quality score, meaning that Google's going to reward you because they believe that you have the highest relevancy score for that keyword. As the owner of your brand or offer, you'll have a high score for all your branded terms. This translates into exceptionally discounted CPCs for your branded terms and improved ad rankings. You can assess the incrementality of brand search using Google Analytics. While it's normal to experience some degree of SEO cannibalization from branded search, you can assess the damage by examining reduction in organic users, pre and post branded search launch. With that said, you can examine the uplift of potential paid users and isolate the true number of incremental users brought in via paid search. Cross-reference those incrementality numbers with your branded search ROI and make a decision as whether or not those are worth it. Simple as that. Reason number 2, play defense on branded terms versus your competitors. As you scale your YouTube spend, competitors are going to begin to take notice and they're going to begin bidding on your branded search terms. Since they don't have as high of a quality score as your brand, they're going to need to bid 3 to 4 times as high as you to rank for the same words, versus you can take advantage of that quality score and get that traffic cheaper. Studies show that the first position on any search gets 28.5% of all the clicks, even if it's a branded search result and that number 1 position is not you. And 71% of people expect a leading brand to be number 1 positioned on search results. In competitive spaces, especially as you scale and become a threat to others, you can get contested by your peers and lose precious market share. The below is inexcusable for any major brand, and it happens on a regular basis across Google search. Cover your bases. Run branded search to stay in that top position. Google's going to give you a major CPC discount via quality score. It's a no-brainer. Now, reason number 3 is to control your brand messaging and take up more real estate on search results. This one's really straightforward. You can control that messaging that shows for your brand via those organic results. Let's revisit an example from Home Chef. By running branded search, this brand is able to highlight their key offering, tailor their messaging to best position themselves against competitors, for example, gluten meals and keto-friendly meals. They take up a huge amount of sheer space on those search results with call-out extensions to boost their CTRs. Then they can drive customers with tailored content that best suits their needs. In this case, Home Chef is bidding on HelloFresh as a keyword to piggyback their competitor's strong brand equity. If HelloFresh went to bid on their own branded terms, even the slightest bit more competitively, they would rank number 1 for 40 to 60% cheaper than the CPC they're paying on Home Chef. So to conclude, branded search is a key component to any major YouTube advertiser to capitalize on the millions of unconverted impressions, play defense against competitors, and customize ad copy to boost conversion rates and CTRs. Want my advice? Try it out and use Google Analytics as a source of truth to see if it's really worth it. So in other words, because you warmed up those viewers through YouTube, there's a strong likelihood they're going to purchase your product or service by keying in that branded search name, and the ROI should be immensely high because the intent is. Check out the stats below to learn how search and YouTube work together. Once you reach a budget threshold of at least $2,000 a day where your YouTube campaigns are consistently hitting your target CPA, you're ready to begin advanced optimization techniques. But first, let's talk about some of the key reporting metrics you need to be mindful of as you assess the data within your account so you can make sound decisions. Number one is bidding. Google's machine learning bids on inventory using a CPM bid for your campaigns. In traditional media buying, cheaper CPMs can sometimes be a good thing, getting the same traffic at a cheaper rate. With YouTube, this isn't always the case. Think of CPMs as tiers, with the premium YouTube traffic being the most expensive. So for example, if you see campaigns performing poorly from a target CPA standpoint, the first thing I recommend checking is your CPM. If your CPM has decreased significantly, this may be a sign that the algorithm has pivoted your campaign into new channels, audiences, or demographics, causing your performance to fluctuate. Sometimes in these instances, your answer is to simply do nothing. If your conversion tracking is on point, the machine learning will see that it's not meeting your target CPA goals, and in most cases, it'll pivot back to the audiences that performed better in the past. This can happen if a campaign is scaled too quickly, and can also happen randomly as YouTube explores new audiences in an effort to expand and find more volume over your current audience. The average CPM we've seen on the most successful and scalable campaigns is in the $15 to $35 CPM range. Another curveball, and one thing to keep a close eye on, is placement performance. Let's talk about placements. If you click on the Content tab on the left column of Google's UI and then click Placements, and then finally see where your ads appeared, Google will give you a breakdown of where your ad spend has been distributed at a placement and channel level, as well as your CPA and ROI for each. From this view, you can see performance on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis at the placement level. As you scale your campaigns, it's important to keep a close eye on this placements report. As you begin to scale more aggressively, you'll start to notice certain placements that perform well and some that perform poorly. One thing that's important to consider is only playing the long game here in terms of mindset and only pausing placements that have a certain amount of ad spend. In previous years, managing performance via placements and running YouTube campaigns that are exclusively targeted to high volume placements was a viable strategy utilized by many of the top advertisers. If you use this strategy, it can help maintain profitability with lower budget campaigns. But this is a double-edged sword in the sense that it can potentially kneecap your campaign's ability to scale by not recruiting new placements that the machine learning feels that are likely to perform well. Today, the algorithm performs best when you let the machine learning make the decisions on your behalf. Our team only pauses placements that perform exceptionally poorly, specifically placements that don't generate conversions with $500 or more in ad spend. Now let's talk about the YouTube.com placement. Keeping an eye on the YouTube.com placement is important. Most advertisers never look into the placements view, and even fewer understand what the YouTube.com placement actually is. The YouTube.com placement is actually a display placement positioned at the top right corner of YouTube. Here's an example. This placement is often misunderstood by advertisers. It's technically a display placement, but automatically added to your YouTube campaigns. Now, remember earlier in the course where I mentioned adding custom thumbnails to your YouTube campaigns? Here's why. When you set up your videos at the channel level, you have an option to add a custom thumbnail to your video. When you add a custom thumbnail to your YouTube video, this is the image that shows up in that YouTube.com placement I just mentioned. Keep an eye on this placement. It's actually considered to be a low quality placement for YouTube campaigns, but in some rare cases it does perform well. If you find that this particular placement or any other placement is performing exceptionally poorly, you can easily block those in the Performance tab. Here's a bonus tip. The more tenured Google reps tend to encourage advertisers to add the below placement exclusions as they reduce historically low converting YouTube.com display spend and mobile app spend placements. So if you like, you can proactively block these placements in your campaigns from day one. Let's talk a bit more about custom thumbnails. If you're an experienced marketer, you know how much a single image can sway performance of a campaign. The same is true for YouTube campaigns. When you upload your videos to YouTube, you have the ability to add a custom thumbnail to your video. With YouTube, custom thumbnails are utilized when your ad is displayed on YouTube.com, like I mentioned above. It's going to show that custom thumbnail as an ad image. And having the right image there can make or break your campaign when serving to YouTube.com specifically. So consider these factors. It's important to be mindful of the thumbnail image you upload to your video. Rather than just selecting any thumbnail image, a strategic move that you can make is to test different images using the same video. So rather than loading your video once to the YouTube channel, load it up 5 times, each of those times utilizing a different thumbnail image. Then when you test your campaign, recruit and utilize all 5 of those videos and carefully monitor the results to see which thumbnail is performing the best. Here's an advanced thumbnail hack. If you're bringing a campaign to YouTube that's previously been successful elsewhere, create a file of your top performing thumbnails from your other ad platforms and utilize those via YouTube. So if you have the ability to test your campaign on an ad platform that primarily uses images to drive traffic, platforms like Facebook, native ads, Twitter, use those as a sandbox to test those images at small budgets, then take the images that have the highest click-through rates and the highest conversion rates and bring those to YouTube as thumbnails. Even if you have a mature YouTube campaign that's spending more than $5,000 a day, it can be useful to introduce new thumbnails to your campaign for an increase in conversion rates. Test this and measure your target CPAs for each video and each thumbnail. Here's how to add audiences to your campaigns. Adding audience segments to your campaigns can be a great way to tap into users who have affinities for your category or users that are in the market for your product or service. Here's how to get started with audience targeting. When our team initially launches campaigns, we like to leave campaigns as open-ended as possible in regards to targeting. The thought process behind this is if we have a wide audience and our campaign is hitting the target CPA goals, it's much easier to scale as we increase our daily budgets. This could be the difference between a campaign that spends $10,000 a day and a campaign that spends $50,000 a day. If, for example, we're launching a campaign for a beauty product for women, I would start by targeting women who are 25 years of age or older with no additional targeting. This gives the machine learning ample room to explore a wide range of ages, interests, affinities, YouTube channels, and users that have shown Google that they're in the market for those kinds of products. Google defines users as in the market for a product based on things like their search history, websites they've recently visited, and/or YouTube videos they recently watched. If a user recently searched for makeup, visited Sephora.com, and has a Gmail inbox full of activity from beauty companies, and on top of that watched a beauty tutorial about how to apply makeup, Google would bucket this user as in the market for beauty products and potentially as an affinity user for Google's beauty audiences. Now, as my campaign begins to spend and test, I'll deep dive performance data on a daily basis, looking at things like the best age ranges, channels, audiences, data segments, things that individually are consistently hitting my target CPA goals. Then, if I reach a point of resistance where my campaign begins to perform poorly, I can remove poorly performing audiences and I can focus exclusively on audiences that hit my ROI goals. Alternatively, if I reach a point of resistance in the sense that my campaign just isn't performing well, meaning the past 5 to 7 days it isn't coming in close to my daily budget and/or successfully hitting my target CPA goal, I can then begin to rebuild and pivot my strategy, leaning into custom audience segments. Some YouTube advertisers will utilize these audiences from day one, but it's important to keep in mind that there's no perfect strategy in regards to targeting and audiences for YouTube. There are 2 thought processes you can utilize in this stage. Number 1 is starting with an open audience and minimal targeting with the goal of developing a campaign that can scale to high volumes. As your campaign gathers data over a multi-week period, you'll begin to identify pockets of audiences that perform very well. If you're consistently seeing pockets that perform poorly, you can then remove those pockets from your campaign. Our team has had the most success when we remove targeting campaigns, not when we add new targeting to existing campaigns. We only take away and we never add. Number 2 is to start with a highly targeted audience to protect your ROI. Some YouTube advertisers prefer to start with this strategy with a highly targeted campaign to keep that ROI protected from day one. So if you feel, for example, that you know your customer avatar, have data from other platforms that confirms it, or you have a mature business with a niche product, this can be a great way to cut through the noise and focus on targeting demos and audiences that have a strong likelihood of performing well. However, this is another double-edged sword in the sense that your campaign will likely become profitable earlier, but may run into trouble as you try to scale later on. Your campaign may also become exhausted from a volume standpoint faster versus having a more open targeting approach. So using a more targeted approach may also help you generate conversions more rapidly. And once your campaign has generated a substantial amount of conversions, you always have the option to create a new campaign that's more openly targeted, because the existing campaign and the data from the machine learning will be more confident in terms of what that customer avatar looks like. It's important to note that both strategies can be effective and depending on your goals can be potentially utilized at different times. An alternate strategy that some YouTube buyers utilize is to use affinity or in-the-market audiences early in the account's development and treat them as training wheels to help the account achieve an affordable $15 to $35 CPM. The rationale for this is not grounded in conversion rate benefits of tapping into like-minded audiences like we discussed above. It's simply to regulate the cost of the traffic in the early stages so the account doesn't zigzag so much in terms of the traffic tiers that it tests. For example, an affiliate advertiser for Medicare knows that they want cheap traffic and has learned from peers and top competitors that the CPM should be around $20. If they launched a campaign without any audiences on max conversions, as many advertisers do, they might have $5 CPMs on day one, but this could be from YouTube display inventory. And on day two, the pendulum swings in the opposite direction, hitting all the top tier placements for a $40 CPM. Then slowly over that first week, the campaigns will find an equilibrium around that $15 to $35 CPM. If they launch with some of these basic affinity audiences, they'll still zigzag to some degree, but the audiences will reduce the standard deviation of their CPMs, likely to help stabilize their learning curve over those critical first 7 to 10 days of a new campaign launch. Now let's talk about target CPA goals, or TCPA. One of the biggest questions I get from new YouTube ad buyers is how to determine a target CPA that best suits their campaign. A good target CPA goal is one that keeps your campaign from losing money while simultaneously allowing the machine learning to adequately gather conversion data to increase its confidence in your campaign. A good rule of thumb to determine your target CPA is to analyze your eCPA results when you're in the maximum conversion stage of your campaign. If, for example, you launch a YouTube campaign using max conversions as your goal and successfully reach the milestone of spending $1,000 a day for 5 to 7 days in a row, and your eCPA, or cost to acquire each customer, is coming in at $100, then a $100 target CPA goal would likely generate you similar results as you scale. If your campaign is profitable or breaking even at this $100 eCPA, then using this number as your initial target CPA goal puts you in a good position to gather more data, let the machine learning do its thing, and then potentially pivot to a more profitable TCPA down the road. Keep in mind, you can always lower your target CPA at any time, or you can even launch new campaigns with lower target CPAs. If your lower target CPA goals are not spending your daily budget, or they're struggling to hit your goals, it may be a sign that your target CPA is too low and that you need to raise it. If you find yourself in this position, you have a few different levers that you can pull to optimize your campaign. Number one is simply adjust your target CPA. Number two would be introducing new videos and thumbnails to your campaign. And number three, you can adjust your targeting, demos, audience, and channels. You can deploy things like day parting on your campaigns, only running certain days or hours of the day that the data is shown to perform best. And you can also optimize your website, landing page experience to increase conversion rates. Day parting is a mechanism you can apply to any YouTube ads campaigns. Day parting gives you the option to only run your ads during a certain time of day, certain times of the week, or both. There are two thought processes in terms of when to utilize this feature. Number one would be early in your campaign. If you have data from other platforms that shows your campaigns perform best during certain days a week or certain hours, you can toggle your YouTube campaigns to run exclusively during those times or days. Number two is you can go through the process of developing your campaign through max conversions and even into the target CPA stage. Once you've accumulated about $25,000 in spend, you can then look at Google's data to determine the metrics from a day parting standpoint that makes sense to adjust and apply to your campaign. This can be a great way to take advantage of days or times where your campaign has increased conversion rates. But like many targeting methods, this can be a double-edged sword in the sense that limiting your delivery can make it tougher to scale as your campaign grows. If you run long-form ads that are, say, longer than 10 minutes, we find that early morning hours tend to convert abnormally well as viewers have more time to pause what they're doing and watch the entire video, which, as we discovered earlier, increases the probability of converting by a large margin. So if you run long videos, or if your page has some element of a VSL on it, you may consider paying close attention to your account's performance on an hourly basis and implementing day parting to prioritize top performing hours. Now let's dig into custom affinity campaigns. Custom affinity campaigns are a great way to reach audiences based on their interest and habits. Advertisers can target people with more specific browsing behavior by adding in specific keywords and URLs that correspond with the specific category. For example, let's say you have a new wellness supplement targeted towards older women with high household incomes. You may want to test custom affinity targeting keywords such as bloating, weight loss, skincare, and add URLs of some relevant competitors or informational websites that your targeted customer is likely to frequent. These inputs guide the algorithm to prioritize people that tend to browse websites containing these keywords or themes, or frequent these competitor or peer websites directly. However, there's no free lunch in digital advertising. The more granular the targeting, the more expensive the CPM or CPV. My advice is to test it for yourself and see if the uplift in conversion rate warrants the higher price point per impression or per view. Custom intent audiences are a bit different. So similar to custom affinity audiences or custom intent audiences. This is the second of the two options in the custom audiences tab. This allows you to target viewers based on their Google search history over the past 30 days. Sounds pretty cool, right? This is a good option for YouTube and display advertisers promoting high ticket items that have a pretty niche audience that they're trying to reach. This targeting strategy can cost 2 to 3 times more on an impression basis than regular targeting, but can often result in 5 times or more increase in conversion rates because the higher traffic quality that it generates. So for example, let's say you're a mortgage advertiser targeting a $750 CPA on YouTube. You're looking to reach people in a key time, a time-sensitive period in their mortgage journey. It could make sense to pay a higher CPM to refine your targeting to people that have been clearly looking for a mortgage in the past month. However, if you're targeting a $20 cost per call for, say, Medicare, where you're likely to reach a target audience via demo targeting alone, you'd be better off avoiding these rigorous low funnel audiences as they'd likely inflate your CPMs higher than what would make sense. Now last, let's talk about optimized targeting. Look at this as an audience expansion for an already successful campaign. So what this is going to do, it's going to use your existing targeting to model and to explore different audiences that Google thinks will lead to conversions. And the more seasoned your account is, the better it's going to perform. So this is going to unlock more volume, and it's a nice option when you have a potent audience but limited volume and or your campaign stops converting well. I've seen these rescue struggling campaigns, but I always start with these off with new accounts. But be careful, our team has noticed that when activated, this feature does not always respect the demo targeting you put in place. The machine learning will usually figure out over time what performs best and what doesn't, but it's an important note that by adding this feature, it essentially removes the guardrails from your campaigns to an extent. For example, you may have 35 plus females and it'll test other demographics it feels can find conversions regardless if you selected them or not. I wouldn't recommend starting off with this. In order for this to work, you should have enough conversion data in your account to warrant using it. If you have a broad offer that performs well on a wide audience demographic, this can be a great feature to potentially utilize. But keep in mind, we have seen this method waste money, and based on our experience, it rarely performs well in new accounts. Setting up proper tracking and attribution is key for advertisers who want to be successful with YouTube. With trackability being more challenging than ever due to privacy issues, constant browser changes, and more, it's never been tougher to properly set up your campaign for success. As an agency, our team actually spends 25% of our time troubleshooting, onboarding clients, and trying to figure out how to get their campaigns to track so they can be successful with YouTube. Many brands, both big and small, face challenges in this department. We spent hundreds of hours learning and testing different tracking methodologies, and in this module, we're going to break those down so your campaigns can be set up for success. Here's how the Google Conversion Pixel works. Every Google Ads account has a Google Pixel which can be found in the Tools and Settings section of the account. If you hover over the icon in the top right of the Google interface, move to Measurement, and finally Conversions, you'll find the place where you can go to create a new conversion goal. Think of your conversion goal as a beacon designed to fire to Google when a user takes action on your website. Conversions can be things like leads when someone fills out a form, purchases by pulling out a credit card or buying your product, downloads from downloading an app, or appointments for someone simply booking an appointment on your website. Before you begin advertising on YouTube, it's important to correctly set up your conversion goal. Part of being successful on the Google Ads platform, and specifically YouTube Ads, will be developing an understanding of Google's ad policy. This can help keep your account out of the penalty box and will help you understand how to address different types of policy issues and suspensions if they do occur. It's important to note that Google Ads policy can somewhat be a black box, even for Google reps internally.